Good morning, ma'am. This is our title for the research proposal, Effectiveness of Self-Learning Modules, SLMS, in the Learnings of Grade 6 Pupils in Hubgan Elementary School. So this is a impartial fulfillment of the requirements for the subject in EM20 Language, Education, and Research. So I am Jobidi Aurelio.
I'm Julito Sigis Liad.
I am Idna Rabuya.
I am Bianchi Gordonas. So, Chapter 1, Introduction. This chapter presents the introduction of the study, review of related literature, conceptual framework of the study, schematic diagram of the study, statement of the problem, research hypothesis, significance of the study, scope and limitation, and definition of terms. So, a self-learning modules or printed modules has been implemented to assist the student learning, especially now as we're facing this COVID-19 pandemic. So this pandemic has paved the way to the implementation of modular distance learning as a urgent response to ensure continuity of education. So according to Malik 2012, modular approach is an emerging trend educational thinking that shifts traditional method of introduction to an outcome-based learning paradigm. Modular approach to teaching enables the learner to have control over her learning and accept greater responsibility for learning. And to ensure the safety of the learners, the DepEd implement the modular method of teaching. The use of modules encourages independent study. So related literature. Self-learning modules have been shown to be effective in improvising student understanding and facilitating their learning. Bush 2006, Helen Nelson and Cabell 2010. Such online modules of targeted specialized content were shown to be superior to lectures. Goff 2018, although sometimes performed similarly to traditional lectures. Hildebrand and Belmont 2011. Such online modules for targeted specialized content were shown to be superior to lectures. Goff 2018, although sometimes performed similarly to traditional lectures. Hildebrand and Belmont 2018. Interactive imaginary, learner control, interactive quizzes. Khalil 2018. And infant feedback. Chen, Breslow, and Gibor 2018 have been viewed an essential element for self-learning modules.
This is the conceptual framework of our study, the input, process, and the output. In Figure 1, illustrates the flow of the study, which tells the effect of the implementation of self-learning modules in the learning of grade 6 pupils in Hobgan Elementary School. Figure 1 presents a visual representation of the paradigm of what the researchers want to correlate in this study. The first illustration shows the title of the study, which is The Effectiveness of Self-Learning Modules and the Learnings of Grade 6 Pupils in Hobgan Elementary School. This serves as the input. And the second illustration shows the process on how the researcher will come up with a target output, where is the researcher had a survey using a guide survey questionnaire, tallying the gathered data after conducting a survey and analyzing the data after tallying the gathered data. Through this process, the researcher will come up with a target output in which it can be seen in the third illustration. So the effect of the implementation of self-learning modules. And also, this is the schematic diagram of our study. So Figure 2 illustrates the profiles of the respondents. As shown for the schematic diagram above, the first box shows the profile of the respondents, in which indicates personal information such as age, educational attainment, and the box shows where the responses will be gathered from such as the pupils and teachers' response.
Good morning, ma'am. The statement of the problem. This study seeks to find the answers if there is significant effect of self-learning modules in the learning of grade 6 pupil in Hobgan Elementary School. The general problem was specifying below. Number one is there a positive effect on implementing the self-learning modules as the basis for the learning in grade 6 pupils of Hogdan Elementary School? Is the new way of teaching, which is modular approach, is effective for the grade 6 pupils of Hogdan Elementary School? Is there an assurance of learning through this self-learning module for the grade 6 pupils of Hogdan Elementary School? Research hypothesis. In pursuing the interest of the study, the researchers are guided by the following hypothesis. There is a significant effect of self-learning modules in the learning of grade 6 pupils. There is no significant effect among the grade 6 pupils using the self-learning modules as their new way of learnings.
So good morning once again. This is our significance of the study in our research proposal. The study focused on the effectiveness of self-learning modules in the learnings of grade 6 pupils in Hogdan Elementary School. This hope to benefit and serve as the guidelines in understanding the pupils' capabilities of self-learning as we are facing the pandemic and face-to-face classes are forced to happen. Specifically for those people behind the education system and every branches of education. So first is the pupils. The pupils are benefited for taking their issues in self-learning through a printed module. The next one is teachers. The teachers' awareness on helping the pupils may change and improve through this research as it helps to understand the pupils' capabilities in self-learning. The third one is future researchers. The finding of the study will serve as a good source of accurate and useful information for them and lead them for their future work. So to the next pages is the scope and limitation of our study. So the study covers and it only limited by the following. First is focus. The research work will only focus on the effectiveness of self-learning modules for the learnings of grade 6 pupils in Hogdan Elementary School. The next one is time and place. So the study was conducted at Hogdan Elementary School. The time duration of the study is around the school year 2020 and 2021. So the limitation of the study. The grade 6 pupils of Hogdan Elementary School have a population of 32, while the teachers' population has only 7, a total of 39. So we are going now on the definition of terms. So the study will explain and defines the meaning of a few terms. First term is self-learning modules or SLMs. So self-learning modules are designed where the learner is free to choose what to learn, how to learn, when to learn, and where to learn. The learner is at an advantage to use this form of non-formal mode of education using self-paced learning materials. So the next term is printed module. Refer to learning packets. So worksheets, activity sheets, self-learning materials. So parents use the learning guide and supervise their child's interaction with the materials and communication with the teacher can be done. The next term is modular distance learning. Features individualized instruction that allows the learner to use self-learning modules in print or digital format, electronic copy, whichever is applicable to the learner. The teacher takes the responsibility of monitoring the progress of the learners. The next one is modular approach. It's an emerging trend, educational thinking that shifts traditional method of instruction to an outcome-based learning paradigm. Modularization, based on the principle of dividing the curriculum into small discrete modules or units that are independent, non-sequential, and typically short in duration. The teaching approach is a theoretical view of what language is and of how it can be learned. An approach gives rise to methods, the way of teaching something which is used classroom, activities, or techniques to help learners learn. New normal education. It is a flexibility enables individuals to learn at their own pace as they prepare for their future. It is fit in the time of the COVID-19 pandemic as it ensures that learners will be able to continue their educational journey at home. The assessment, the wide variety of methods or tools that educators use to evaluate, measure, and document academic readiness, learning from the skill, acquisition, or educational needs of the students.
So, chapter 2, research methodology. This chapter presents the research methods to be used in conducting the research, This includes the research design, population, and sample of respondents, research instruments, data gathering, procedures, and data analysis tools. So here's the research design. In gathering information, the needed data and researchers applied the quantitative research design. It was considered the most appropriate design in collecting data, analyze the data, and interpreting the data of the study. Quantitative research can be used in response to relational questions or variables within the research. Quantitative researchers seek explanation and predictions that will generate to the other persons and places. The intent is to establish, confirm, or validate relationship and to develop generalization that contribute to the theory, Reedy and Omrod, 2001.
Okay, this is the population and sample of respondents. The respondents of this study are the 31 pupils of grade 6 and 7 teachers in Hubgan Elementary School, and through using the simple random sampling, the researchers randomly select 25 pupils and 5 teachers and total of 30 respondents for the study. Using the random probability sampling design, the researchers believe on getting a positive result and the study as wherein each element has an equal chance or probability of being chosen as the subject of the study. According to Shuna Macambes in 2021, probability sampling involves random selection, allowing you to make strong statistical inferences about the whole group.
The instrument that the researcher used was a survey questionnaire for this study. Survey questionnaire is the main instrument used to gather the needed data. The researchers conducted a survey using this survey questionnaire with the informant. A one-page questionnaire was designed for this study. The question was related to be answered by the grade 6 pupils and the teachers of Hopkan Elementary School who are the subject of this study in the effectiveness of printed modules as a teaching method.
So this is the fourth stage of our chapter 2, data gathering procedure. So considering the pandemic situation and to the prior of the study, the researchers sent a letter to the barangay officials of Barangay Hubgan to seek for an approval to conduct a survey inside the barangay where the Hubgan Elementary School was located. The researchers were also given a formal letter to the school principal, subject teachers, and the class advisor of the Hubgan Elementary School to have a permission in conducting the research for the grade 6 pupils. So the researchers prepared a survey questionnaire for the grade 6 pupils in Hubgan Elementary School, introducing the survey topic to every household wherein the researchers conducted the study, letting the pupils and the teachers to answer the given survey questionnaire, and asking them if there is any clarification or question relating on the survey questionnaire. So after the researchers gathered the data from the respondents, the researchers arranged, compiled, analyzed, and interpreted the gathered data using the suitable statistical tools and instruments. So we are now going into the data analysis. So as soon as the data were gathered, the researchers analyzed, interpreted the data using the following statistical tools. The first is the population. This was used to conclude the totality of all the participants, including the grade 6 pupils and the teachers of Hubgan Elementary School who answered the given survey questionnaire. Random probability sampling design. The researchers used the random probability sampling design to randomly choose the sample respondent from the population of Hubgan Elementary School. Frequency count and percent. The researcher used this to classify the percentage of the entirety of the respondent who answered the given survey questionnaire. So this is the references, this is the uncited authors we use in our research proposal. For example, is Ronesky in 2001, course design, A Guide to Curriculum Developing for Teachers, New York, Longman Brown G. and M. Atkins in 1991, Effective Teaching in Higher Education. So, scroll. So, it has it has only 2 pages of our references. So, that's all and thank you.